Support for WYES is made possible by Mary Lou Kristovich in memory of her husband, William Kristovich.
Good evening, I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Poppy Tooker, host of the WWNO radio program, Louisiana Eats. Hey, Miss Poppy.
Hey,
Good to see you. We're so thrilled. Priscilla Lawrence, Executive Director of the Historic New Orleans Collection, is with us, here to discuss the organization's upcoming 50th anniversary gala and lots of good things going on. Good to see you. Hello, welcome. Tony Award, he's back, Tony Award-winning actor and the singer MIchael Cerveris, but here to discuss his new CD called Piety, and he's going to be performing around town, but play for us a little bit later. Welcome, sir.
So
one more
glad to be
time.
back.
Hey. And Alan Mason will return next week. But first up, Miss Poppy.
Okay, we've got to go back out to the Jazz Fest, of course, and tomorrow is my big work day at the Jazz Fest. I'm going to start off at 1:30 on the Food and Heritage stage, which of course is in the grandstand, and I'm going to be cooking Madame Begay's eggplant with rice and ham, which is one of her original recipes from her original book published in 1906 and then again republished in the Tujague's Restaurant Cookbook. It is something that is so delicious. It's one of those things that I can literally eat it until I'm sick. And it's kind of like a fantastic jambalaya with eggplant. Then after that, I'll be in the book signing tent from 4 to 5 o'clock. So big day. And then I get to go see Stevie Wonder. And however, this Jazz Fest just has me in mind of the last Jazz Fest that I got to go to, which was in Havana last December. I got to go with the Preservation Hall Jazz Band and the Foundation, and that was the topic of my last weekend's radio show. And I just had to take everybody with me because, you know, visuals on the radio are so bad. So I figured everybody would appreciate seeing some really fun pictures. And we're going to start off, you know, we dined at the Paladar San Cristobal. And there I am, of course, with Ben Jaffe, who made it all possible. And the Paladar San Cristobal is the place where we all so famously saw Obama and his family dine. And it was spectacular. It was a beautiful old home. That's what Cuban shrimp Creole looks like. I thought people would
not
find
that far off, huh?
No, it was delicious, and it was such an incredible place. If anybody goes to Havana, they must go to the Paladar San Cristobal. And of course, the way you're going to get there is riding around in one of those fabulous cars. It was so much fun. We saw everything, and at one point, they even took us out to an organic farm where we had a fabulous lunch. That's what the kitchen looks like. It's kind of third world. You see the dogs in the mud and the ladies cleaning the chicken. But the food was delicious and it was so much fun. WWNO is hosting a trip to Cuba to the next Jazz Festival. So if people are interested, they might want to look into that. Now, if you haven't had enough crawfish yet this season, there's some great, I almost forgot to say, Preservation Hall Jazz Band. That'll finish you out with Cuba.
Yes.
Tomorrow, Jazz Fest, Gentilly Stage, 155 until 3 o'clock. And now we're going to leave the Preservation Hall Jazz Band and Cuba. And we're going to crawfish, moving on to the crawfish. So the Hotel Modern, which is, of course, in Lee Circle, is doing something new. Crawfish and all the fixins in the courtyard at 5 o'clock, May 5th, May 19th, and June 2nd. It's a great deal. It's 4 pounds of crawfish for $20, and they have $1 Miller High Life ponies. And then if you all remember the weather from St. Patrick's Day weekend, it was one of those sort of flooding weekends. And the Turtles' second line got rained out. And so this is the slowest second line. They're 2 months late. And they're going to second line now for Mother's Day. And the parade's going to be Saturday, May 7th from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. It'll be assembling on Bienville Street at 11 o'clock. The 10 turtles are going to parade through the quarter. There's Slade rushing the chef. It's adorable. The kids, bagpipes. The chef will be there. Once they get the mothers and the others, that's bechamel, espagnole, hollandaise, tomate, velouté, remoulade, ravigote, bordelaise, mignonette, and the only male in the group is cocktail sauce. And once they get them to the courtyard and ceremoniously put them back in the pond, they're going to finish with a blessing, a champagne sabering, green grasshopper cocktails, complimentary hors d'oeuvres and confections, and of course, those turtles will never end up in Brennan's turtle soup.
No, only in the courtyard. P.S. to the crawfish, Tom Hinyap of Sunray does the crawfish, and he does a really good job.
Doing it.
So FYI,
Yum,
thank you so
thanks.
much, Poppy. Okay. And we turn to Priscilla. Hard to believe 50 years, but certainly contributing so much to New Orleans in terms of savoring and celebrating its history. The Historic New Orleans Collection, in many places, too, in the quarter. Huh?
That's right. Well, a complex of buildings. We have, of course, the flagship location on Royal Street, which is where the founders bought property in the late 30s.
The Williams, Kemper
and Leila Williams. And they bought part of it to live in and really wanted to preserve it for the public. And you see here the Research Center, which is a newer addition, past the Williamses, and we house the collections there and make them available to the public. So.
And that's very important, that it's available to all.
Right.
You know, you don't have to be a scholar, but you have to be serious about wanting to pursue more information about history. And it's vast. The holdings are vast, and they're spreading around the quarter, and we're thrilled. But the Williams love to collect themselves, and that's how it started, didn't it?
They did. It started, well, I think the buildings were their first collection, or their...
and renovating,
you know, it sort of made them get really serious. And they were collecting all along. The General, this is General Williams, was very interested in military history, so we have an enormous collection, really important collection of Battle of New Orleans material. Leila was interested in all sorts of things, including schoolgirl embroideries, which we still have. And she inspired him, and it was actually with her death in 1966 that the foundation began and the collection began.
Well, in addition to those, you actually have the home where they live that folks can visit as well. But it really wasn't necessarily the chic thing to live in the quarter in the 30s. It's hard to believe.
It was kind of bohemian and a little shabby, and they really saw the importance of preserving those buildings. So there's one house that was built in 1889. Now the keystone is the 1792 Marielt House there on Royal Street, but the 1889 townhouse was something they felt comfortable remodeling to live in. So it's got a 30s, 40s flair and gives people an idea of what it was like to live in the quarter.
One of the things I like, especially as we go into the summer for people who like to staycation, and I like to do that too, are all the free exhibits you have year-round.
We do lots of exhibits and try to use our collections as jumping off points, but to highlight just the wealth of diversity of our culture and our heritage.
And you publish too.
We publish
lots
books.
Of great
we
books.
do great books. That's right. That's right.
Now you're celebrating though. Next week you're going to have a party.
Next week, Wednesday, May 4th, we will be having our first ever black tie gala. It'll be at the Orpheum, and it's going to be absolutely spectacular. You'll have the Preservation Hall All-Stars all to yourself, as well as Jimmy Maxwell's orchestra and Joe Lasty and the Lasty Family Gospel. So they're all there just for you, and Brennan Catering. So it's going to be a fantastic evening. You must come. You must celebrate with us.
Well, I know we are certainly looking forward to the tricentennial, and WYES and the Historic New Orleans Collection will be working very, very closely together on that, of course. But you're also planning, in terms of celebrating that that event in just a few years, you're renovating a new facility.
We are. We're bringing the old Brulatour building back to the public. 520 Royal, where there was television broadcast and the
WDSU.
Yeah, for a long time, and really important courtyard, a beautiful old building. It was built in we think 1816, and so we'll be renovating the old building for museum for the history of the French Quarter.
Oh, great.
And
What a great
then
idea.
there will be some new construction at the back where there really wasn't
All right.
anything
Wonderful.
to save. So.
Thank you so much, Priscilla. And
Thank
once
you.
again, hnoc.org for more information about all of this, too. Thank
That's
you.
correct.
And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, our remarks named the 2 Jazz Fest stages where the big crowd performances are usually held, Acura and Gentilly. Now, tonight's question. Among 2 dishes that are popularized at the Jazz Fest, one involves, okay, Poppy, you can't answer this.
I'll be quiet.
One involves crawfish and the other pork. What are they? Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prize is a year's subscription to Louisiana Life magazine. And also by Renaissance Publishing, don't forget to get your Jazz Fest program, and it includes food coupons in there too. Tonight we have an apron as worn by Ashley Richard Morris with the message "Food Snob" from our friends at wearablevegetables.com. And thanks to our friends at Pelican Publishing, we have a copy of Mr. Okra Sells Fruits and Vegetables by LaShawn. But sometimes we say vegetables, right? By LaShawn Daly and Emil Henriquez. And by the way, Mr. Okra will be at the Jazz Fest this weekend. We will also have the book, you know about this, Poppy, too, When Not Performing, by Fred Lyon and Poppy's friend, photographer David Spielman, full of great interviews and photos of local musicians. You can visit WYES.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events, including Julia Reed signing her new book, Julia Reads South, about entertaining at home. That's Tuesday night starting at 6 at Garden District Books. And you can link to our WYES YouTube channel to see our program and to see our homepage. Now, Michael, yay. Now, I think some people, they know that you're appearing on Broadway these days. How'd you get off?
I just snuck away. I don't think, I'm hoping I'm not watching tonight.
Okay, right. They give you some time?
Yeah, they make you earn it, but they let you have it, yeah.
Well, you're a busy bee, and we'll be showing, as we talk, all your different appearances coming up, including tomorrow at the Jazz Fest.
That's right.
With Paul Sanchez.
Paul Sanchez and the throng that'll be on stage with him.
Well, that'll be so much fun. But tell us about the CD. It seems so much more intimate. I'm so used to you being, and I know you've got, of course, your Loose Cattle Band, which has been on with us, and your Broadway mode. But this is more intimate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sort of more personal record, and I think it kind of developed that way partly because of the way it came about. I had met Mark Bingham through Paul Sanchez when we were doing the 9 Live CD that we recorded at Piety Studios also. And Mark said, you know what, you should come back and make a record here. And he said, just send me some demos and send me your songs and stuff. And he picked ones he thought would work well. And it felt like a real family kind of personal kind of record to make. It's the musicians are going to be familiar to anybody who goes any place to hear music in New Orleans. It's a roster of half the people there at Jazz Fest today. But it was kind of just like making a little family there on the record. And when I write songs, they tend to be, they aren't as big and grand and theatrical. They are more sort of personal kind of musings. And
so you wrote almost all the songs on this CD,
I wrote all of them, yeah. And
Yeah.
Paul Sanchez and I wrote one of them, and then I wrote all the rest of them. And some of them were songs I had written a long time ago and never really done anything with. Some of them had appeared in other forms, and then some were written actually in the studio. So it kind of it covers a wide
Well, you've got,
berth.
as we said, performances coming up. Will this be your first time at Jazz Fest tomorrow?
No, I've sung with Paul before.
Yeah,
I've always gotten to sing with Paul. One of these days I'll get to bring my own stuff, but I'm happy however I get there. I sing in the crowd with a lot of artists.
I'm sure you do. And looking ahead, you'll also be at Chiquiwawa, huh?
Yeah,
That'll be
Loose
fun
Cattle's going
on
to
Canal
be
Street.
back in town on May 11th out at Chiquiwawa's, which is such a great venue, largely because it makes it easy for you to get there.
better.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. We're glad about that. Now, backing up to Broadway, the show Fun Home has been on the boards for over a year.
Yeah.
In Broadway time, that's pretty amazing.
That's like 7 years in dog years or whatever. It's like a lifetime in Broadway years. No, we're still going strong. We've still got our original company almost entirely intact, and there's no end in sight.
One of our favorite photos.
Yeah.
Were you surprised? Not that you weren't worthy, but were you a little surprised that you won?
I was surprised. I had prepared myself so fully to not win because it was a really difficult year. I mean, it's always difficult, but this year in particular, there were 5 really fantastic performances by 5 men giving entirely different kind of performances in very different kinds of shows. So everyone was outstanding in something very different, and so it was hard to tell like which way the voters were going to choose. I wouldn't have wanted to have to make that kind of decision. And so I was very prepared and very happy for it to be somebody else because I knew all the other guys in the category. I liked them all very much. I would have been just sincerely happy for any of them. So I had kind of made my peace with the whole thing, and then when they called my name, and also the cameraman who's like shooting your reaction thing was standing between me and Bernadette Peters, who was reading the names. So I couldn't see her read it. I could just sort of hear it, and I wasn't sure I trusted that I had heard it right, or it wasn't just like voices in my head telling me that it was my name. So when I got up there, my first thought was, to give a shout out to my New Orleans family. So the first thing I said was, who dat? And which just mystified, I think, a lot of people.
Just to remind everybody that you like to live most of your time when you can in New Orleans.
Yeah. I have
so
home
you're
here.
back and forth. Yeah.
I'm working out of town right now. Is how I think of it.
What you put that. And so you actually went up there. You knew you weren't just doing this by mistake when you were on.
No. My first thought was I had a picture in my head of all my friends here and people I don't know watching it on TV down here, and my first thought was just imagining all the people that this was making very happy. So I wanted to, let them know I was thinking of them.
Absolutely. I know you were good friends with Steve Michelle Gleason, and you participated in a fundraiser earlier this week. How was the David Bowie tribute? Was that a lot of fun?
It was fantastic. Carlo Nuccio put together this amazing night with a cast of dozens and dozens of artists all singing David Bowie songs, and a huge band that had meticulously learned all of the arrangements, and we did it at the Civic Theater, and the proceeds went to Team Gleason and the ALS Foundation.
So the acoustics are good there?
Yeah. I mean, it sounded like rock concert scale, which was great.
Have you been to the Orpheum yet?
No, I haven't been since it's been
amazing,
reopened.
All these different theaters. We are so fortunate and we have more theaters probably going than we've had in 50 years.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see the Civic, and a lot of concerts are played there too.
Yeah.
But we're so glad to see you.
I'm so glad to be here.
Set up for us what we're about to hear, and Kimberly Kaye, your longtime colleague.
Yeah, Kimberly is joining me to sing, as she did actually on the record, a song called "Better" that is from my new CD. Piety.
And if folks want to know what you're up to, we have websites that they can go to.
My music website is cerverismusic.com, CERVERIS.com.
Yes, indeed.
And the Loose Cattle website is loosecattleband.com. And then I have a Facebook page that I always make sure
You're a busy Facebooker.
People know where I'm eating and all those things that they need to know all the time.
And just in case folks missed the time you were here with Loose Cattle, that is this whole other music effort with your, would you call it roots, rock,
I mean, it's
country?
a country/Americana band. Which,
and you're playing with them at Chikiwawa.
Yeah. That's on May 11th at Chikiwawa. Yeah.
All right, well, good. Well, let's go and let's hear now Michael Cerveris also performing with Kimberly Kaye, performing a song from the CD Piety, and the name of the song is "Better."
Sky is gray, can get better. You count the cost in loves you lost. Things only can get better. You wanna love, you're certain of things when they're bad get better. You miss the girl you used to be, you miss the faith you had in me, you miss what other people see. I never wanted to be free, it's not what people really need. I wanted you to be with me. You miss the girl you used to be, miss the faith you had in me, miss what other people see. I never wanted to be free, it's not what people really need. I wanted you to be with me. Sky is gray, you leave today. Things only can get better. Don't know why the sun ain't in the sky, but things only can get better. Things only can get better. Things only can get better. I said, things only can get better. Things only can get better.
And once again, a reminder, Chikiwawa. Okay, Wednesday, May 11th at 10 o'clock. You can see Michael performing and Loose Cattle then too. And now it's time for our artist spotlight. And what a surprise! We're featuring this year's Jazz Fest poster by Paul Rogers, House of Swing, portrait of the first family of jazz. It includes Ellis, Branford, Wynton, Delfeo, and Jason. Rogers, he actually did the first Jazz Fest portrait to the Marcelluses in 2002, and that was Wynton, of course. And he also co-authored Wynton of Jazz ABZ and an A to Z collection of jazz portraits. Also collaborated on Bob Dylan's Forever Young. We also have this year's Congo Square poster, The Thrills On, a portrait of B.B. King by George Hunt. It follows the figurative road that B.B. King followed to immortality. While King moved to Memphis for radio acclaim initially, Louisiana-born Hunt went there in search of blues legends to paint. His works are on view at the Gateway to Blues Museum in Tunica, Mississippi. And now it's time for our picks. Poppy!
Well, Wednesday night, there's the Bow Tie Bash celebrating the life of Chet Porciao, who sadly missed, and it will benefit the No AIDS Task Force.
Okay, Priscilla.
The rest of the weekend, the collection shop will be at the Jazz Fest. Go and look at the beautiful photographs of Michael P. Smith.
Could we miss very much?
That's
Great
right.
photos of the Jazz Fest. Thank you. Michael!
I'm just going to be out at Jazz Fest all weekend. Standing in the mud or whatever's there.
All right, great. And we look forward to seeing you. My picks, don't forget that next Tuesday, May 3rd, is Give NOLA Day, hosted by the Greater New Orleans Foundation Association. Give NOLA Day is the community's one-day online giving event to inspire donations to nonprofits, including WYES. Give to NOLA.org. And looking ahead, listen to your mother. Giving Motherhood a Microphone will take place in New Orleans next Saturday, May 7th at Jesuit High School Theater at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are $18. Local moms who are writers, including Leisha Fink, Vanessa Chanot, Jean Andrews, and many others, share their stories of motherhood. Proceeds benefit the Dress for Success nonprofit. And the same night at 8 p.m., New Orleans Ballet Association presents the dance troupe Che Malambo from Argentina. The group will celebrate the South American tradition of the gaucho. It will take place at the Mahalia Jackson Theater. Tickets may be purchased online. And now we leave you with yet another song, Pony Girl, from the new EP from Michael and his band, Loose Cattle, including Kimberly Kaye. Happy Jazz Fest, and thanks for watching. Thank you all. Good night.
There's a moon over the prairie, shining so brightly. A moon over the prairie, so big and so bright. And I'd pay that old moon to shine straight through the dawn. 'Cause first light tomorrow, my love will be gone. Pony girl, ride away. I knew you'd break my heart someday. Some folks get the call to go. Some folks, they're bound to stay. Oh, ride away. Ride away. When you were a young girl, I dreamed you some mountains. I dreamed you a trail running clear to the sea. But you're tired of my dreaming, you're leaving for true. At first light tomorrow, now what can I do? Pony girl, ride away. I knew you'd break my heart someday. Some folks get the call to go. And some folks, they're bound to stay. Oh, ride away. Ride away. Ride away. Ride.